2, 1, and we are recording with Dr. Alibek and Anastasia. Everyone knows who I am, and they know who you are, Dr. Alibek. Anastasia, please introduce yourself.
Do you want if I introduce myself in English or in Russian?
Both.
Anastasia, if you feel comfortable speak English, speak English. I'll be having short maybe insertions to say something in Russian, let me say, to our Russian listeners, okay? It's you decide, or you speak Russian, I'll speak English.
Let's I speak Russian, because I want for Russian people to see and do.
Okay.
All right.
So, меня зовут Анастасия, у меня 3 детей, я живу в Англии, 2 из них нормотичных и 1 с аутизмом, которого зовут Иван.
My name is Anastasia. I have three children. 2 of them are normotypical, and one of them is his name is Ivan, is autistic. And Anastasia lives in Great Britain.
Great Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Alibek, what are we going into today? This is part 7, I believe, of the.
Yeah, it's part 7.
Yes.
And just let me introduce maybe Anastasia this way.
Okay.
We met quite a while ago, more than a year ago. Through the internet. And we had a number of talks, and she was helping me with having some, collecting some information, because I'm having a huge number of pages on autism. And just thanks to her, just kind of some organization is taking place. But the most important part, she's having a son who was diagnosed with autism. And this is one of the things, 2 things we've done together for about a year. And today we wanted Anastasia to tell about her experience having a child with autism, what she was going through, just over years, just what's happening now, and her personal experience, just because there is one important part, in my opinion, to tell people about the role of a family and the role of a mother, let's say, and a kind of, not just treatment is a treatment, but there is some stage in the disease which would require completely different, attention to a child who are getting, from the state of autism to and moving to the state of being neurotypical, normotypical. This is, in my opinion, a very important part. I hope many people would like to hear about this.
Dr. Alibek, to remind you, can you come closer to the microphone? I know. I'm gonna buy you a microphone and mail it to you, because we're gonna do it.
No, I have no idea what kind of microphone I need to have.
Oh no, it's not you.
3 different microphones, and I have no idea.
It's not you. It happens with anyone, and if you're not right up close to it, that's why I have this stupid thing right in front of my face, so I don't have to lean close. No, you're fine. You're fine. And so we talked about,
if possible, Anastasia, would you like to tell to Russian listeners about the reason, or you want me to explain why you invited for talk?
No, I can explain.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes, доктор Алибек говорит о том, что доктор Кен говорит о том, что мы знакомы с ним больше года, и что мы много сотрудничали вместе, и он помогал мне лечить Ивана. И в каких-то вещах я ему помогала.
И что... больших.
Спасибо. И что, когда мы разговаривали, мы пришли к одному выводу с ним, что как важна роль матери и родителей в улучшении состояния ребенка, что не только лечение, но также психическое, психологическое состояние родителей важно в прогрессии любого ребенка, вне зависимости, у него есть аутизм или нет аутизма. Ну, это я не своими словами сказала.
Absolutely great. Tommy, Anastasia explained, to Russian listeners, the reason, everything what I said, and she explained to people who would listen in, Russian language. In this case, maybe, what's your opinion, Tommy? Maybe Anastasia would start by blocks explaining about her life and her child. Just maybe.
Sure.
But it's absolutely up to you, Anastasia, how to how to outline all this stuff. Okay.
Okay,
My position in this case,
let's start
it would be
about
just to
Ivan.
translate. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Let's start about
there's
Ivan.
no
And
right or wrong way. There's no right or wrong way. You just it doesn't matter. It's just us. You can say
I
whatever
even
you want.
write down lots of stuff
Do whatever
about
you
this.
want. We're good. We're good. Do whatever you want.
But the thing is, I'm not really prepared. But how it's gonna go?
It shouldn't be you speak yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Так, я хочу рассказать про Ивана. В 2010 году родился у меня сын Иван. Он был очень долгожданным ребенком в семье. Мы его очень ждали. Когда были роды, у меня их вызывали. Вызывали 3 раза, потому что ребенок не хотел выходить. И срок как бы тоже был на 2 недели больше, чем должен был быть. Доктор, нужно переводить.
Позже, да?
Да.
Okay.
2 недели позже.
Anastasia says she and her husband wanted to have a child, the third one. And they waited for a long time, let me say, and they were absolutely happy when it started taking place. She became pregnant, and it's everything was fine. But what was difficult, she couldn't give birth for quite a long time, and there was 3 stimulations. To stimulate, delivery, and it took more than 2 weeks longer time just for Ivan to be delivered.
Хорошо, ребенок родился здоровым. По шкале там, какая у них шкала, ребенок родился здоровым. Ребенок был очень спокойным, меня не тревожил, папу не тревожил. Спал ночами, спал днями, кушал, улыбался, что-то бормотал себе. Ну и как бы рос по мере своей возможности. Вот. И единственное, что меня как бы задевало, что он тикал глазами, вот так вот делал, как бы тикал глазами. Я спрашивала health visitor, у нас называется это health visitor, как бы доктора, все ли это в порядке, они сказали, что да, все в порядке. Потом, когда ребенок начал ходить, он начал ходить на носочках. Что было...
Tommy, Ivan was born in 2010. It's now he's 11 years this year, and just after delivery, she was absolutely normal. There was no problem. She was laughing. She was responding to some, laugh, let me say, smiles of parents. He looked absolutely different. Absolutely normal. The only thing the parents noticed, there was some tics. Just by one of the eyes was always, let me say, just, you know what tics are. It's a kind of a type of tics, just to show, how eyes are moving. It's kind of unusual thing. And they went to a doctor, and but just we would say a pediatrician. In Great Britain, we say it's a different title. And the doctor said everything was fine. They shouldn't worry. And of course, the parents thought everything was fine, but then they started noticing he started having a different working. Using, just they work not putting the entire, let me say, food on the floor. They start working, let me say, using so-called toe walking. It is one of the signs of future autism. Yes, of course, they didn't. I hope I'm right, but they didn't know about this at that time.
Ну, у него также появились крылышки. Крылышки тоже, если Томми знает, что это когда ребенок вот ходит и вот делает вот так, как бы крылышки. Он ходил и ходил кругами, вот вокруг своей оси ходил. Но это меня не тревожило.
Какой возраст?
Это возраст, вот когда 1,5 года, 2 года,
Мгм.
да, как бы, когда ребенок маленький еще. Потом он начал говорить. Говорить он начал тоже вовремя, но при произношении речи было продолговательное, как бы он говорил: «Я пойду туда». Он не говорил, как вот все дети разговаривают спокойно, вот начинает говорить, говорит: «Мама, дай». Он: «Мама, дай». То есть его речь была продолговательная. Это тоже меня не тревожило.
Okay, yeah. Anastasia says some other symptoms signs start appearing during a period of between 1.5 to 2 years old. And you notice there are some signs, for example, a child will start to say moving palms. Let me say it's one of the things now, for example, I know about this, but parents wouldn't know. But it's already a kind of warning sign. Okay, something's going on. Then another sign, it's interesting. Again, it's known to me and not known to parents. Parents, in many cases, are not explained about this. He will start moving around. I mean, circling the room. Let me say, running or moving. Let me say, it's a kind of stereotypic. Let me say, behavior. I mean, just kind of. It's another sign of another warning sign. Okay, but because they didn't know about this, they didn't worry. And then there was something else coming because he would start speaking. He started speaking, but the speaking ability and the way he was speaking was different. And just when I speak, just we put just a normal language, normal speed, just everybody will start speaking with the kind of speed we usually used to. He was speaking in a different way. I mean, just because kind of low and protracted requests or sentences. Like, for example, if I say, okay, Tommy, how are you? But if having this something, so sorry, let me say for some additional explanation, it's something he would say, okay, Tommy, how are you? You know, this difference. It's a different way of speaking. This is again a typical, one of the typical signs of autism.
Okay.
Окей. Ну, вот так вот мы жили. Я даже не думала, что у Ивана может быть аутизм. Как бы проблем он мне не доставлял. Он играл в компьютер, он смотрел мультики. И я могла заниматься домашними делами до 4 лет. У нас произошел конфликт с его папой, и он увез его на Украину.
Wow.
На целый месяц. После чего ребенок вернулся, и начался откат.
It's a very important point, because it should be emphasized specifically, because it's from a science standpoint, it's so essential. And you know what Anastasia says, everything was fine. He was watching cartoons, let me say, playing his games, let me say, nothing special. I mean, he was developing not as completely healthy child. He was developing more or less normal way, and until one of the events. Actually, there was some, kind of argument between Anastasia and her husband. And her husband took Ivan to Ukraine, where he's originally from, for a month. And this is just a critical point. When they came back, let me say, he was very different. This is a point, because it is why I'm stressing this. I mean, all the talks about vaccinations, all things, let me say, this is what we call stress. I mean, psychological or some other stress could cause this situation. I'm sorry, Anastasia, for adding some some scientific explanation to people who should
Your
hear.
English is so amazing. I just don't know what to say. American, sorry.
No, I don't speak English language. I speak American.
I
you can
wouldn't
say,
explain
a
like this. I
with a
wouldn't.
heavy Russian accent.
Me the same, everyone says to me like, you're Russian, definitely you are Russian. How you speak English?
Okay.
Да. Первые изменения заметили в садике. Он стал убегать с группы и сильно кричать. Кричать таким голосом, который вот прям режет уши. Вот такой голос, когда кого-то бьют или что-то страшное происходит. Но причин для вот того, чтобы он убегал с группы, вообще не было. Потом он начал брать игрушки и кидать их в детей. Потом он начал рушить все книги и рушить все игрушки в группе, где он находился. Тогда впервые меня позвали в садик и сказали, что с вашим ребенком что-то не то. Он изменился. Я не верила.
Yeah, as usual. You're not the first one who wouldn't believe it.
Но нам представили службы помощи, которые приходили домой и спрашивали, все ли хорошо дома, смотрели обстановку дома, и им все нравилось, но все равно поведение Ивана становилось все хуже и хуже.
Okay.
5 лет Ваня пошел...
Answer is okay, because it's. I need to keep in mind that the entire things, because each word is absolutely essential, very important for people to hear. And just what Anastasia said, just first sign of alarm sign came, let me say, from a kindergarten. And Anastasia was told that his behavior at the kindergarten was kind of erratic behavior, and he started screaming. And scream was absolutely unusual, and because many parents or people, even who are not within this problem, they cannot understand that sometimes they produce a very, let me say, severe sound, let me say, just a kind of, some people say it even just wouldn't look human scream. That's what usually happens with kids, just kind of, the child could be sitting quietly as an explanation, and suddenly, for example, kind of very short and very strong, but with a very high scream. And this is one of the signs which already show that something's happened to a child. Then next step, he started behaving a kind of aggressively. He started destroying, let me say, some toys, let me say, just signs of violent behavior started appearing. And the people, who work with him said that his behavior became severely destructive. This is this situation which was developing by the year his age, about 5 years, when he became 5 years old.
Well, I had some support from Early Help as well. So they came to our house and checked, is it everything okay in the family? So why he behaved like this? They have to understand.
He started speaking English, it's fine. I'll be in this case speaking Russian. Okay.
They had to understand what is, but they checked and they said like everything is fine in the family, so we can't help.
Okay.
So we can't do anything. So Early Help couldn't help. So.
And Tommy, it could mean that, for example, just if they see some strange behavior, they would check whether there is some problem, in the family, because there was no diagnosis yet, correct? Okay, go ahead.
5 лет мы пошли в школу. Ваня пошел в школу, и тогда начались больше проблемы. Сейчас, минутку.
When he was 5
Тяжело
years
это
old,
вспоминать.
he went to school. In the sense it was the elementary school, yeah.
Он абсолютно не умел коммуницировать с детьми. Он абсолютно
He has no
не
ability
понимал,
to
как
communicate.
с детьми. Он обливал детей водой, он убегал с класса, он продолжал кричать. Его держали, когда он убегал из класса. Когда его держали, он пытался ударить или защитить себя, я бы назвала, любым способом, чтобы его отпустили. Но по как он называется, по их законам они должны его держать, если он кого-то может обидеть или кому-то может причинить зло. Потом его исключили из Breakfast Club и исключили из After School Club, как бы сказать, исключили из всех клубов, которые возможны в школе. Мне пришлось как бы сократить свои часы на работе, чтобы его приводить попозже и забирать пораньше со школы. Школа ничем не помогала. И я обратилась к семейному доктору. Семейный доктор направил нас к педиатру, который попросил нас заполнить листок, где надо было ответить на вопросы. И школа тоже заполняла этот же самый листок. В конце мне позвонил психолог и сказал, что у Вани, возможно, аутизм.
When he was 5 years old, he started attending, I would say, kind of preschool or initial school, because it's at Great Britain, maybe some different rules, because here in the States, we started about 6 years old.
We start 4 o'clock.
Huh?
4 years. 4 years.
Okay.
Sorry.
And
4 o'clock.
you know, when he came to school, this first class, let me say, his behavior became even, I would say, more violent. He would use some water, let me say, to spray on people. He would scream constantly, and he would attack some other kids, and he was stranded because the rule in Great Britain, at least at the school, was, just to keep somebody, let me say, in order not to let this child to cause harm to others. And just nothing was helping. Just nothing helped, and because some at the school they have some kind of regular classes, and then school preschool activities, after school activities. And because of his behavior, he was, removed or excluded from preschool. Just some hours pre-regular schools, after school, and and he was permitted just to spend time just in class. During obligatory studies. And because of this situation, Anastasia couldn't work full time. She started working part time, and so soon after, their family physician sent them to a pediatrician, and then a psychologist, and they gave a call back after evaluation, saying, okay, looks like your child has autism.
Я не верила в это, опять же.
Yeah, she didn't believe it.
Я не верила и плакала. Плакала и
Maybe
думала,
then
как помочь ребенку.
Right, yeah.
Я не знала, что такое аутизм. Я не знала, с чем я столкнулась, но я знала, что я сделаю все, чтобы помочь ему, потому что я видела, что он страдает, и ему тяжело. В школе находиться ему было тяжело. После школы он тоже плакал. У него началась агрессия к себе. Страшная агрессия к себе. Он начал биться головой об стенку. Он начал бить себя по голове любыми предметами, которые ему встречались. Находилась книга рядом с ним. Он брал книгу и бил себя этой книгой. Он рушил все дома. И я не знала, как ему помочь. Он кидал мой телефон. Он начинал брать ножи и говорить: я не хочу жить.
Okay, это очень важно. Okay, let me translate it. You say phone and before. Okay, in any case, first of all, of course, Anastasia didn't believe it. It's because something absolutely unknown. Nobody would be able to say, okay, we know how to treat it. And for her, of course, it's, what she says, she thought she would do everything possible to help her son. But when he was home and she was with him, she was noticing that he was getting worse and worse. And you know what, specifically, he started getting more and more agitated. There was, being agitated, she started noticing, let me say, some first signs of self-aggression. And it seemed like he was hitting his head, let me say, on the wall constantly. And he was using different subject, let me say, and hitting himself, beating himself on his head. And he started destroying all the things around. And what is, he was aggressive to the point even he started destroying, let me say, mother's iPhone, like this type of things at this age. He was absolutely out of control. And what is important to say, because he understood it was abnormal. That's what a very important point, which is, in my opinion, stressed. He knew that it was wrong. He understood it, at least Anastasia felt it. It was obvious he was suffering and suffering very hard, and definitely he needed help, but nobody would provide any.
Да, на вопрос, почему ты так делаешь, что происходит с тобой, он объяснял, как будто что-то в голове сидит и доставляет ему такой дискомфорт, и это что-то не разрешает ему вести себя хорошо и контролировать себя.
It's very important. It's a very important statement because not many people understand it, if any. When Anastasia was asking him about why you do this way, he would say, okay, you know, Mom, I feel something is in my head. Somebody is sitting there or something is sitting there. And the thing, so a person who is there, I say, wouldn't let me behave normally. And I cannot stand it, but I cannot behave different way.
Он потерял интерес к учебе, то бишь он не желал больше учиться, и ему было неинтересно ходить в школу. В школе так же самое его считали очень опасным ребенком. И меня попросили сидеть вместе с ним, находиться в школе вместе с ним, потому что директор считал, что нахождение его одного, даже с тьютором, даже с поддержкой, опасно для других детей. Он... Сейчас, у меня прям эмоции начинаются. Он чуть ли не задушил девочку в школе. И ее отец подошел ко мне и сказал, что извините, но таким детям в школе не место. Я плакала весь день. Я рыдала. Я думала, что будет дальше.
And just to me, it's a very emotional part, and you see Anastasia is really emotional. I mean, remembering things. And just remember at that time, she says there was no way for him just to continue studying. He had no desire to study at all. And at school, there was an opinion that he is very dangerous and he cannot be placed among regular children. And I mean, even the assistant being with him is not sufficient, and they required that Anastasia will be together with him at school every moment when he's at school. And but the situation was getting worse. And at some point he started, how would I use to say about it? He started strangling, as you say, just a girl. I mean, suffocating a girl. And just in this case, you can imagine just a girl being suffocated. When you say it's a kind of situation, just everybody would consider, okay, there is a possibility he would kill someone. And the girl's father came over to Anastasia and said, okay, please take your child away because he has no right to stay at school at all. And of course, I mean, just Anastasia sort of, I would put it this way, it's a kind of absolutely, impossible situation when the mother feels there is nothing she can do. She sees no way out because she understands something going on with the child, and nobody in the world can help the child. She was crying, and didn't see a possible way out.
Я начала искать специализированные школы для Ивана. Но ни одна школа не хотела его брать с такой характеристикой. И нам очень повезло, потому что рядом с нами находится приватная школа для детей с особенностями. И в этой школе сказали, мы можем взять Ивана посмотреть. И если все будет хорошо, то он сможет остаться в нашей школе. Эта школа стоит очень дорогих денег здесь, в Англии. И ее достать место там очень сложно, потому что спонсирует образование именно государство. Поступив в эту школу, первый месяц Иван вел себя хорошо. Я бы даже сказала, я очень радовалась его успехам. Потому что там знают подход к детям с аутизмом, там специалисты, там логопеды, там терапия, музыкальная терапия, другая терапия, все необходимое для детей с аутизмом. Но потом его агрессия вернулась. Первое, что произошло, он столкнул учительницу с лестницы, и она сломала ногу. Второе, что произошло...
Let's over this point, because it's important, because millions of parents are having the same situation, and nobody can explain to them what's happening at this point. That's why, Tommy, I'd like to. This part is again is very essential. And just what you can imagine, because they were requested to leave the school. They tried to find some other schools in the areas. Let me say, nobody wanted to have him at school. I mean, they got no everywhere. But the situation was saved by the fact that there was a school for special children nearby. It was a private school, a very expensive school. I mean, it's very limited possibility to be taken to the school, and definitely very expensive. And they were very happy. I mean, just and Ivan was taken to the school, and the very first months everything was looked good. And you know, because it's a special school, this was kind of techniques being used everywhere in the world. I mean, it's kind of musical thing that you say. Then I mean, just so-called therapies.
I can tell in English. I can tell in English.
Behavioral therapies, yeah. Okay, to tell
There
English.
is psychologist, there is art therapy, there is music therapy, there are speech therapists, there are like staff fully trained for the children with autism. Every single child had someone who sit next to him and support him with the study and with the behavior. There is sensory room, there are lots of sensory stuff like you know, balls, you know, like to make sense. If child don't have sense, there are speakers, you know, speakers. So if child wouldn't have these problems with the noise, yeah, with the
noise cancelling systems, yeah. You know, but generally, Anastasia, just then we'll explain to just maybe a couple of words in Russian, if I say. Для родителей на русском языке я хочу сказать о том, что это школа, в которой Анастасия дала ребенка, там было абсолютно все виды терапии, какие только можем себе представить. But Tommy, what I didn't finish, I mean, just it's, you know, just it looks like it was a great school. It was all possible therapies, currently available therapy. But all this are kind of a good period continued for just 4 months. Then let me say just aggression started coming back, and it ended up with a situation when he pushed a teacher down the stairs, let me say, and teacher broke she or he broke her leg. This is a situation, okay?
Но это еще это не единственное. This is the not only one what happened.
It's not the end of story. I mean, people need to understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
In one day, в один день мне позвонили со школы и попросили прийти забрать его. Меня встретила директор. У нее было полностью расцарапано лицо в крови и в синяках. Когда я спросила, это Иван сделал? Она сказала, да. Говорит, ну ничего, мы справимся. В тот момент мне тоже хотелось плакать. Казалось, вот она школа, вот он, все для него, и нет, это не помогает ему.
And to Tommy, but a broken leg was not the end of story. One of the days, the parents got a call from school and asked to come to school. When Anastasia came to school, she was met to the school principal, and she was having a completely scratched face. I mean, it's and it was obvious it was done by Ivan. The principal was crying. I mean, just because you can imagine, I mean, just an adult, let me say, principal, and being, let me say, I mean, attacked by a small child. And, you know, just, and somebody who is supposed to be strong, let me say, having great experience working with such children, was really crying. And of course, Anastasia realized, okay, if this perfect school with all these conditions, let me say, all this behavioral therapies, let me say, just cannot do anything, looks like it. So, and she started crying.
No, it looks like I'm always crying and crying.
Yeah, looks like
Yeah, it's my life 1 year ago.
No,
Can you
yeah.
imagine, Tommy?
Anastasia, what you tell
Yeah.
is not new because we've gone through this for more than 10 years. Every
Yeah.
day of a very tough
I wasn't crying, to be honest. I'm a very positive person, but
time.
when it came to me in my life, it was really hard, really,
Oh.
really hard.
And Anastasia, I've told Dr. Alibek this before. You know, I don't have any experience with autism. It's 2021 now, and in 2014, when I was 23, I lost my older brother to suicide. It's not autism, but in terms of mental conditions, he was very depressed. In terms of mental conditions, kind of tearing apart a family and like destroying you at your base level. I get it.
So you understand how
I gained 70 pounds. I was doing drugs. I was drinking every day. I had to move home with my parents. I was 30 years old when I moved out again. Like I get it. Like I get how it can. A year ago, I was living at home. I'm 31 now. I've only been in my own apartment for about 5 months. Like I get it. It can absolutely, in ways that no one can understand until you go through it, it will rip your body and your mind and your soul and your heart apart. And then when you finally get better and you tell the story in hindsight, yeah, you kind of have to explain to people. You're like, you don't understand what this is like. This isn't a bad day. This is weeks and months and years every single day
Yes.
for 900, 1200, 1500 days in a row, where every day is worse than the last. And you get to a point and you're like, what is my breaking point? And then little shit like stubbing your toe can just send you off into, an absolute temper tantrum, or you break down crying, and then other people are looking at you and they're like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, I can't even explain it. Like, I get it. I don't know autism, but I do know what it's like to have mental illness seemingly rip a family to pieces. And, God bless, my family has stayed together and we've become stronger for it. And for the most part, I loosely say recovered from it. But I get the journey. It's something that no one can understand. Like every day is hell. Like I know it. I know it. I know it, and I know that no one else can know it until they know. And
That's
there is
what,
a point, you don't know what is gonna be tomorrow.
you
How
just
it's gonna be
break.
tomorrow.
You just break.
Just
You crawl into bed, or you get some vodka, and you're like, I don't want to deal with this
Right.
anymore. I'm gonna go sit in the shower. Like, I get it. Sorry, go on.
I even didn't want to leave. I even didn't want to leave. I wanted Ivan to die. I wanted my son to die because
Yeah.
I was thinking, what for?
Yeah.
I need all this.
Yeah. It's a
What
burden.
he gonna do in the future? He gonna kill me? He gonna
Well,
kill his brother? Or what it's gonna be?
Oh no,
Oh.
I mean, I remember waking up and being like, why am I, I was still in college. I was like, why am I going to class? Why am I paying taxes? Why am I getting a haircut? Why do I take a shower? Like, why do I get out of bed? I wanted to die. I was very suicidal. I was like, what am I doing? What is the point of this? Is this some weird nightmare? Like, no, I get it. And then when time goes by and you look back at the things you thought, you feel terrible. You're like, man, I wanted to die because I couldn't do this anymore. And it's hey man, it's the human spirit has limitations, and then if you do get through it, and manage to fix yourself, all you want to do is help other people avoid that, which is why I'm doing these episodes with Dr. Alibek. I don't know anything about autism. I have no experiences with autism, but I do know what it's like for mental illness to tear apart a family, which is why I do these episodes. Because I'm like, hey, if I can help other people kind of avoid even one day of just that hell, then I'm like, all right, I'm doing good. And it's not all for nothing, right? If you can learn from it and help others avoid it, well, then it's not in vain. Sorry, I'll stop talking.
No, that's absolutely what you said is absolutely important, Anastasia, if I may, and then I'll tell Russian listeners maybe in a short way. What you say, Tommy, is really important because studying autism, studying neurobiology, neuropsychology, and so on and so forth, in addition to my all other specialties, just I know what kind of things are happening in the brain of a child. And just when let me I don't want to be harsh to, let me say, to people who take care of autistic kids, but but what I'm saying, guys, before you blame somebody, let me say, in a kind of affective behavior or something like this, try to understand what's happening to a child or to all these children in the brain.
Yeah.
Because the brain is different. It's different structurally. It's different by compactness of neurons. It's different by, I mean, a number, concentration of neurotransmitters in the brain. In case of depression, I mean, just we know, for example, there are some things, but one of the major neurotransmitters, dopamine, actually, is very low. And low dopamine, let me say, is depression. I mean, just there are some ways, let me say, just to correct it, not neuropsychologists or kind of nootropics. No, it wouldn't work this way. But what I'm saying, why I'm mentioning this, because in autism, depression, let me say, is one of the signs for a big group of autistic kids. I mean, just developing depression as well. When they get older, let me say, they at the age about 20, 25 years old, they're getting more and more depressed. And one of the major cause of death for autistic people is suicide. Because average life expectancy of people with autism is about 36 or 39 years. Just not many people overgo this period of time. That's why, and just it seems to me, it doesn't matter what country we are in, Great Britain, the United States, Russia, and whatever country, we live in a kind of separate world. We prefer not to know these kids. We prefer not to listen about their problems. We don't try, let me say, to develop real medical service for this because it's a huge portion of population and tens of millions of kids and, I mean, young adults, they're suffering, including depression, ADHD, I mean, OCD, I mean, bipolar syndrome, I mean, autism, I mean, cerebral palsy. And can you imagine this? It's let me say, it's a world we don't know, we don't want to know of, let me say, but it's a huge number of millions, tens of millions of people. This is the biggest problem. And what Anastasia is telling us, let me say, is just a story of a child, let me say, one of tens of millions, and you can see how, let me say, this situation is affecting the family, people around. And when you tell about your brother, I cannot even imagine what you went through when you talk about, let me say, his suicide. I mean, because it's this is what, and I have no idea why, let me say, just we, in many cases, we try not to see it. I mean, just because, I'm sorry, I don't want to be politicized in this case.
No.
Guys, stop spending trillions of dollars, let me say, for weaponry, for wars. Just spend money, let me say, to create better, I mean, better mankind.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to say. It's it's politics already, but
no. It makes absolute sense because it's well, not only that, I think there's a very realistic application to it. Is it's not just don't spend all this money in weapons and spend it on medical care. All that, I mean, how many days of work did I miss because of how many days, if you really want to break it down into just economics, I mean, how much lost economic output is there from a family destroyed by mental illness? I mean, if you spent a fraction of that money on mental health, you could probably even spend more money on weapons from the taxes that produced. Everybody could be happy. It's insanity, but it's a lot like it's like staring at the sun. Like unless you have to, you don't want to. And that's what mental illness is until you get a sunburn, someone's saying, look at the sun, and you look up and it's, you don't want to look at it. You just go about your day, put your sunglasses on, you don't want to until it knocks on your door. And I mean, that's what it is. But, you know, all we can do is, and now we're moving from politics to philosophy, is be the change you want to see in the world. So if we don't like what's going on, then we have to do the bare minimum, which is getting on a podcast and talking. Like, we can't say everyone else should do it if we're not willing to do it ourselves, right?
Absolutely. One small addition. I do remember my period of life, 2011, 2012, 2013. 3 attempts to commit suicide together with my daughter.
Yeah.
I was standing next to bridge and ready, let me say, to turn my car to the river, to Potomac, because I felt it's absolutely empty and aggressive daughter sitting behind me, crying and beating me, say, into my back.
Yeah. No, it's
That's what happening, and these things are passing by. Let me say, and nobody pays attention to this.
Yeah. In 2016, in late July 2016, I was 26. It had been 2 years since I lost my brother, and I was just going downhill fast. I literally called my mom and told her I was in Georgia. She was in Maryland. I was like, "Can you come down and get me?" Because I can't get out of bed. Like I would wake up and I would cry because I was awake. I was like, I don't even want to be in this hell. I just want to go back to sleep. And you can only sleep for so long before you're just awake. And then the only conclusion is why don't I shoot myself? Why don't I cut my wrist? Here's a bottle of pills. It could be over like that. And in a moment of clarity, I called my mom and I was like, "Can you please come get me?" And then, you know, mom comes down and, you know, comes down, grabs me, brings me home, and I go live with my parents for 5 years. I do therapy, I get sober, I lose weight, not all the weight, still a little chubby, but, you know, and I slowly get better. But no, I know that feeling where there's nowhere else to go. And you're like, what am I even doing? I could end it like that. All the pain gone. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, at least there is one good thing that I need to mention. We, three of us, we have something in common. At
Yes.
some point of our lives, we wanted to commit to suicide.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think probably everyone has that, but we're just Anastasia is like, what podcast did I get drawn into today? We're an hour in and Dr.
You
Alibek and I are
know.
talking about
Two crazy
Anastasia's like
people, we are talking
It's
about
really
committing
interesting to
suicide.
listen.
Anastasia's like, man, she's like, autism's bad, but these guys are crazy.
I went through this. I went through this, Tommy. I
Yeah.
went through this.
Yeah.
I even I asked Ivan to go to special service where they like support for children who wants to do suicide.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He was 8 years old, 8 years old child who
Yeah.
wanted to kill himself, and he was saying everything to himself like, I want to kill myself. I don't want to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
And I was, what? It's just was 8 years old and he already didn't want to live.
Yeah.
It just was. That's why I understand what you're talking about. I understand your brother. I understand now people.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't go through this, I wouldn't understand, you know.
Oh, you can't.
But
Yeah, you
I
can't.
know what is talking here.
Yeah.
And you know, in this case, Tommy, can I say this in Russian to the mothers? Дорогие мамы, вот все, которые знают меня и смотрят наши передачи, вот то, что Анастасия сейчас сказала, это вот одно из самых страшных событий, через которые, ну, немало часть из вас тоже прошла. Это когда ребенок начинает говорить, что он готов покончить жизнь самоубийством. Ребенок, которому 8 лет. Он готов это сделать, потому что он понимает, что он не может выжить в этом мире. И он понимает, что он не может найти решение. И это идет параллельно с тем, что мама уже тоже доходит до такого состояния, что готова тоже совершить самоубийство. Томми рассказывал о том, что прожил с его братом. Там было неврологическое заболевание, депрессия, и тоже брат кончил жизнь самоубийством. Томми был готов тоже пойти на это, потому что выдержать это состояние тоже было невозможно. Но я рассказал свою историю, которую я вам рассказывал, о том, что трижды в течение времени 2013 года я стоял рядом с мостом через реку Потомак и долго раздумывал. Пришло время вместе с машиной съехать в реку с моста, или ничего не пришло. Так вот, таким образом, чтобы у нас было понимание того, что такое аутизм, и врачи это должны понять. Okay, now you can continue. Is it okay, Tommy? Is it okay because we already speak for an hour?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
How much? I'm good for however long you guys want.
Yeah, no. If we spend 35 minutes for
For cigarette you want, yeah?
short
Let's
break,
do it.
for me, I mean, it's, I really apologize, but because being a smoker, I know how many people say, okay, how this guy being a doctor can talk. Okay, it's
Tommy, I want to say something. I'm really, really, really proud of you because you went through
thank
this,
you.
and I'm telling you, it's just
No, I'm
well
proud of you
done.
guys. Hey, I'm proud of you guys. Anyone that has to go through this shit's terrible. Dr. Albeck, do you want to keep going? Do you want to go take a smoke break? And
yeah, just 5 minutes, and we'll come back definitely.
5 minutes.
Because I don't want the story unfinished because now
No. You're fine.
We need to come to the point when what kind of treatments anesthesia tried to apply, and just what was happening. And to me, just we talked about therapeutic things, and we'll be talking about over and over again. To me, it's important to hear, and to hear not just for me, I mean for other parents, what is the role of the mother, what's the role of the family. Let me say, because time is coming if the child is getting better, because now this medical situation is important, our medical treatment, but there is something many parents don't know of yet. That it would be important if she tells about this as well. Okay, for 5 minutes, and we'll be back.
Yeah, and if you want, doctor, I can call Ivan, and if you want, we can talk with him as well, because now he's absolutely different child, yeah, and we're gonna talk about this later. So.
Anastasia,
It's up to you,
No, it's perfectly fine, because it's anytime when I talk to parents, I'm asking to bring a child, because it's when they complain the child is still in autism status, okay, just show to me, and I'm talking to a child just to see, for example, what kind of things we still need to work on. Or, for example, somebody who would say, okay, a child who I saw several times but would never pay attention, suddenly would start looking at me, saying, okay, are you Ken? I said, yes, I am. And I said, do you know who I am? He said, okay, it looks like a senior person. I mean, and my mom told me that you're a physician. Okay. And this is, I mean, just an old man, let me say, physician. This is for a child who's just saying, okay, now just your child is, of autism, and just start just teaching them, okay? And it would be great if you bring Ivan. It's absolutely perfect in 5 minutes. Agreed?
For 5 minutes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Dr. Albeck. Dr.
In 5 minutes. So, Tommy, I'm gonna leave for 5 minutes as well, yeah?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I'll hold it
I'm
down.
gonna leave for 5 minutes, okay? Yeah, because
you're good. You're good. Go do it. Go do it. You're good. I will.
Thank you.
Yep, I will hold it down. I can hold it down. I don't care.
Go have some coffee as well, then.
Yeah, no, no, go for it. Yeah. So for everybody listening, Dr. Alibek is going for a smoke break, and Anastasia's running out of the room, and I'm holding it down, and it's a solo, and well, hey, I guess solo is what I do best, I suppose. I don't even know what that means. Solo is what I do best. I've done 565 episodes, and like 550 of them have been have been episodes with guests. What kind of BS statement did I just make? I do best solo. I statistically improvably do not do best solo. It's nothing about that statement was true, but that is the difficulty, not the difficulty, the challenge of holding it down solo is you just can't stop talking. You can't have moments of it's kind of, I would say I'm the same as Eminem, but probably as talented in terms of I just have to freestyle. You just have to talk. You can't stop. You have to keep going. And it gets difficult because you don't have time to stop and think about what you want to talk about, because you have to keep talking while you're thinking about what you're going to talk about. And thus you cannot stop. You're juggling, you're patting your head, you're patting your chest and rubbing your head at the same time. And it is a little bit of a neural workout, but it's like anything. It's kind of like when you're riding a bike and it starts wobbling eventually, or, turbulence in a plane eventually, as you can tell, as I'm doing right now and giving this example, there's some weird meta, is that it starts to come down and you start to catch yourself and you start to catch a little bit of a wave and you can talk. And that's what we're doing right now. And, I've talked about this a lot on this podcast, the importance of mental health to me. It's admittedly, it's like an abstract, idyllic thing. I want to use this podcast to help mental health. And it'd be great if we all had food and water and sang Kumbaya. Let's make crime illegal. I get it, but it's that is the reason why one, I love talking to him, but that is the reason why I continue to do these with Dr. Alibek, is because now there is a legitimate path to how I can do what I want with this podcast. Like, YouTube wouldn't run ads on my podcast because they hate me and then they ban me. But on Spotify, I get like a penny per 10 plays. So there's a path. Is it practical? And no. But if I push hard enough and I just get it to volume and I get millions and billions of plays, then I can actually make money off of it, right? Correct. So in that sense, talking to Dr. Alibek is a path to enacting the change that I want to. Do I know anything about autism? Not at all. Am I a physician? Not even close. But if I can have Dr. Alibek on here, talk about his experiences, and I can have his patients on here and talk about their experiences, then there is an actual path to how I can use this to do what I would like. And now Anastasia is back and I don't have to solo talk anymore.
Hello to me.
Yeah, hello. And Dr. Alibek's still smoking, so I'll wait till he comes back to take a bathroom break. But I feel like Dr. Alibek should just like light it up while he's on the podcast. Well, I don't know why has he got to go outside? I feel like he should just be like just chain smoking on the podcast.
Release,
Yeah, I think it'd be badass
Release
if
the
Dr.
stress.
Alibek if he just lit up on he probably doesn't want to smoke in his office, I guess. But I think he should. I think it would be cool. I think it would be badass. Just start talking with a cigarette, like a glass of whiskey. Tommy, we're talking in Russian. I have no idea what you guys are saying when you're talking in Russian, so I'm just nodding. If you see me with no facial expression when you're talking, it's because I'm playing it safe. I don't know if you guys are saying something lighthearted or very serious, so I don't want to guess and like smile. I don't want you to be telling like some deeply emotional thing, and I'm like, that's funny, and you're like, what the hell? I'm opening up my heart and I'm smiling, so I just have to sit here just kind of like, because I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's talking, so I'm just like, play it safe. Because yeah, but yeah, it's
I'm happy to see you.
Yeah. Well,
really happy to see you, to know you.
Yeah, no, it's that's what I was saying when you were gone. Is I've always talked about how I want to use this podcast to improve mental health care, and that's always been like it's been a goal, but it's also been very abstract. Like it's not like there's no direct way to do it, so it's people that are like, we need world peace, and it's like, okay, how? Like, how do we do it, right? But with talking with Dr. Alibek, and he has on his his patients like you with your children, and then if other parents can watch that and they can learn from it and they can feel like they're not alone, then to me, I'm like, oh, now it actually is kind of maybe happening. It might, no matter how tiny, I don't think I can change mental health care forever, but if I can just make it a little better, then I don't feel like my brother's death is in vain. If I didn't do anything, I would feel like I would feel like his suicide would be even worse because nothing happened because of it, you know? Like a car crash is bad, but if safety regulations like a seatbelt are enacted after a car crash, then it's not for nothing. It's like, okay, that was terrible, but now lives can be saved, right? So
Yeah.
if I can do something to, I don't know, just at least make people feel like they're not alone. At the very least, make people feel like they're not alone. And at the best case, somehow, you know, help provide therapy, then I feel like it's not for nothing. Does that make sense?
Everything makes sense.
Good.
I don't know how in America, but here, for example, if you want to get help from psychologists or psychotherapist, so it's better to go to private because you have to wait months. So Ivan to see psychologist, he saw him once in a month, in 3 months. So there wasn't any point even to see him.
Yeah.
The thing is, he was just sitting there, and the psychologist was, "How are you, Ivan? Ivan, I'm okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. So how is Anastasia?" I said, "It's not okay. Nothing is okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's doing this and this and this. So yeah, but you're in the right school, so they're gonna help you. They have specialists. So and what the point of this psychologist who just saying, yeah, you're in right school and you got all specialists. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't get help anywhere.
Yeah. No,
So, yeah.
I know that feeling. Dr. Alibek, we were talking about how come you don't just smoke a cigarette on the podcast?
Because I'm in the office.
That's what we figured. We thought
Yeah.
we agreed it would be cool. You'd be
Fire
cooler if
alarm.
you lit up on the podcast.
You know, just it's if somebody finds out and say I'll be thrown
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Whatever. Who cares? Just light it up and I don't know. Use an umbrella so the smoke doesn't go away. All right. Now you're back. You guys can start talking. I gotta go use the restroom, but you guys can continue.
Мгм.
Хорошо, я просто скажу.
Ага. Сейчас, может быть, для русскоязычных надо просто то, что мы обсуждали, и, может быть, как Иван готов, он, чтобы поздороваться с нами?
Да, конечно. Сейчас,
Да,
минуточку.
давайте. Ага.
Ваня, ты готов прийти сюда?
I'm in my normal clothes. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
Вот
Иди просто поздоровайся с доктором Алибека.
Иван,
Hello.
привет.
Hi.
How are you? You prefer speak Russian or English?
I don't really know.
Well, better English.
Okay, how are you, Ivan?
I am good. How are you?
Okay. I'm fine. It's interesting. You are in London. I'm in the United States. I mean, we talk to each other. And how do you feel now?
I
Do you
feel
feel
okay.
comfortable? Do you feel comfortable living in Great Britain, or you still remember the country you were from originally? No,
You asked
I
me,
know.
you
You-
prefer England or other country?
England.
England.
Okay. I know what you mean. Okay, Evan, it's great to meet you. I mean, because your mom told me a lot about you, and
He's shy a little bit.
no, that's okay. You remember just when once I introduced your mom to my daughter. She was autistic, and they had a very nice talk. And it's great, and I'm really happy that you're feeling much better, and you make your mom very happy, and I see a happy guy. I mean,
Не стесняйся, кого ты
no,
стесняешь?
don't be shy. Let me say it. Everything's fine. I mean, because it's.
No, I'm
In,
not.
Mhm. In any case, it's great to meet you. Okay. I mean, just hopefully we'll see each other in the future, just for kind of casual talks. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's very nice to meet you.
You can go if you feel uncomfortable.
No, just don't be shy. Я
Чуть-чуть
прекрасно.
стеснялся.
Ну, это нормальное состояние, абсолютно. Ну, самое главное, это и видно и по поведению, по глазам, и по всему этому. Это обычный стеснительный мальчик. Немножко, я не знаю, может,
Обычный мальчик.
Среди сверстников он как?
Обычный.
Среди сверстников, то есть...
Сейчас идеально. Я хочу вот, да, рассказать, как мы попали к вам. И я не знаю, Томми пока что занят. Мы можем говорить, я думаю, да?
Да, мы можем просто для русскоязычных,
Да.
может, да.
Что, ну да, вот какая была ситуация, и что было, и какие мы терапии прошли, да, потому что надо было что-то делать. Я начала звонить во все службы, Autism Speak, вот, которые называются здесь, вот такие службы есть, помощи. И когда я дозвонилась до одной службы, мне женщина сказала, что есть дети с аутизмом, это то, о чем очень часто спорят в Фейсбуке и в других группах, что есть дети с аутизмом, которых у них нету проблем. Вот нету проблем, нету таких проблем. И она сказала мне одну хорошую вещь. Она говорит, найди причину, почему он себя так ведет. Если человек с аутизмом, это не значит, что у него должны быть депрессии. Это не значит, что у него что-то болит, должно болеть. Она говорит, если его что-то тревожит, а его однозначно что-то тревожит, она говорит, найди, что его тревожит. Она говорит, то если его ничего не будет тревожить, он будет вести себя как обыкновенный ребенок. Я послушалась ее словам и поехала в Россию на анализ.
Okay, in this case, can I translate this to Tommy and to Tommy? Anastasia told me that Ivan was different, and she was still looking for possible ways of treatment. And one lady told her that, at least according to that lady's opinion, that there is nothing in a child which can cause, kind of pain or just kind of severe disease in terms of, let me say, physical disease. I mean, in some kids, let me say, we see it, in some kids we wouldn't. But she told Anastasia that you try to understand what's wrong, what's happening, what's happening to a child, and just without understanding, it wouldn't be possible to find solution. And she listened to her and decided to go back to Russia, just for some while. Okay. Now you continue. And she didn't explain why to Russia. It's again, it's kind of enigma even for me at this point.
Why? Because I didn't get help here in UK. Yeah.
You know, it's important to say, because it's, for some reason, Great Britain is the strictest country, let me say, with no exception of any other way of treatment, and without even trying to understand what else can be used for treatment. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Мы поехали в Россию, мы посетили психолога, психотерапевта, психиатра, невролога, мы сдали МРТ, ЭЭГ, доплимографию, кровь. Так же самое я обратилась к нутрициологу, который сказал, что у ребенка аммиак повышен, который сказал, что у него дефицит витаминов. Он выписал нам БАДы. БАДы не помогали. Мы сели на диету. На диете мы просидели 4 месяца. Диета называется gluten-free, milk-free. Как бы
Okay, gluten and casein-free. Tommy, coming to Russia, they visited, had appointment with psychologists, psychiatrists, neurologists, I mean, nutritionists, and this, I mean, all the specialties. And head MRI, I mean, that's all things. And they got recommendations. I mean, this one of the doctors said because he's having some ammonia problems, let me say, in the blood. Then a nutrition specialist suggested to use a special diet. I mean, gluten-free, casein-free diets. I mean, nothing worked.
Да. Психолог нам выписал 2 лекарства, диакарб и фенлипсин. Диакарб, он для того, чтобы убирать внутричерепное давление и скапливаемость воды в головном мозге. Фенлипсин, его выписывают эпилептикам, но он также само помогает, он как психодействующее вещество там находится, которое помогает справляться с агрессией и помогает людям с шизофренией. Заключение психиатра было, что у Ивана аутизм, перерастающий в шизофрению.
And
Заключение невролога было, что внутричерепное давление.
okay, and you know what happened? Ivan was prescribed 2 medications. One is we call it the diacarb, actually, which is used, let me say, to remove some excessive liquid from the body and from the brain, because it was told that he's having some excessive liquid in the brain. And psychiatrist said that he was having autism and going, let me say, towards schizophrenia, because it's kind of border situation between autism and schizophrenia already. Okay.
Так же самое я водила Ваню к остеопату. Говорили, что остеопат помогает убрать давление, внутричерепное давление и помогает расслабить мышцы. И в течение 6 месяцев, да, были результаты. Ванино поведение улучшилось в школе, и я решила убрать фенлипсин, что привело к тому, что, да, поведение ребенка вернулось обратно.
And then they visited a chiropractor because he gave a diagnosis that there is some blood circulation problem into brain, and there was a half a year treatment using all things, let me say, and he became better actually. And when they came back, let me say, Anastasia decided to, I mean, take him off fenlipsine, and let me say, and his condition went down again to the previous state. Please.
Ну и вот и к 9 годам мы познакомились с доктором Кеном.
No, it's a part. I have an idea. Just please don't say many good things about me. Just say this is a bad guy. Just when Ivan was 9 years old, we met. I mean, Anastasia and myself. Distance-wise, I mean, distance. From
И
one to
так
one.
как
Анастасия, вы слышите сейчас, да? Был какой-то...
да, у меня что-то с интернетом. У меня
Да,
что-то
ну,
с интернетом.
сейчас нормально все.
Да, сейчас нормально.
Мгм.
Вот, и мы начали лечение с вами, доктор Кен. Мы начали лечение, и сразу появились изменения. Ребенок начал, как сказать, выходить со своей ракушки. Он перестал сидеть за компьютером целыми днями. Он начал общаться с нами. Он начал интересоваться, что происходит в жизни. Поведение в
Can I stop
школе
this?
так же само улучшилось.
Mhm. Okay, and when we start treatment, because Anastasia and myself, we discussed treatment options, and when Anastasia started this treatment, she says he started changing quite soon. I mean, behavior was started getting different. He stopped, let me say, playing with the computer all the time. He started communicating with parents. I mean, he became obviously different, and his behavior at school became different as well.
Да, он мог спокойно сидеть на уроках, он не жаловался на звуки, у него пропала мышечная боль, которая у него была. Ему было сложно делать физические упражнения. И физическая боль, которая вот у него была, она пропала. И он начал выходить на улицу, начал общаться с детьми. У него появились друзья.
You know what's crucial to mom, of course, just several things. I mean, his communication, let me say, became absolutely different. He started communicating with other children. I mean, he started, having much wider, deeper interests. And then what is again one of the things not many people know about, some muscle pain, some muscle cramps, or many of these kids are having, and it went away. I mean, he became different. Okay.
Да, через полгода мне сказали, что в школе мне сказали, что это самый, я скажу по-английски, можно? Successful child in this school. Самый, как объяснить, самый умный и вот самые лучшие улучшения из всех детей в школе это у него.
In half a year,
Меня это очень радовало.
in half a year, she was told that Ivan became the best student at the school, and they said he was an example of the best changes and the most profound changes they've seen before.
Мы продолжали лечение, и в один момент опять все вернулось обратно.
Great. They continued treatment, and at one time point, everything went back. I mean, it's how many, but you know, but it was deterioration, obvious deterioration. Go ahead.
Я не могла понять, почему, потому что мы с доктором не меняли лечение, может, только какие-то БАДы, да, и что происходило с ребенком, я не могла понять. И в тот момент, именно в тот момент я находилась, как это называется, послеродовая депрессия.
Четвертый?
Именно в тот момент, нет, третий, дочка у меня третья, это Ваня второй.
Okay, you know, just it's a very interesting point. You remember what I told you about. Anastasia couldn't understand what's happening because nothing has been actually changed. Let me say, same treatment, maybe some slight changes in some nutritional supplements. I mean, just anti-inflammatory supplements and so on and so forth. And she was analyzing the situation, and then she realized it was a time when she was in, there is a condition we call women after giving birth, let me say some women, I mean, who gave birth recently, they get, let me say, so-called post-delivery depression. It was exactly the Anastasia's state, yeah.
И когда я уже поняла, что я сама не справляюсь со своей депрессией, и что мне нужна помощь психологическая, я обратилась к психологу, психотерапевту даже скажу. И мы начали работать надо мной, над моими обидами, над моим поведением, над моим нежеланием радоваться жизни, над моей импульсивностью, я бы сказала, потому что я тоже импульсивная была, неуравновешенная. И я сама не заметила, как мои изменения помогли Ивану измениться.
This
То
is
бишь,
the most important point.
получается, что
Let me explain this. This is what I'm talking to parents all the time. And actually, the first thought was given to me by Anastasia. You know, this, now I'm saying to parents, and okay, dear moms, you remember, let me say, a child up to a certain point, he's living by mom's life. Because any mom, let me say, just is the closest person to a child. Whatever, especially for a child who's coming off autism. I mean, this is, and because she was in depressed state, because she was quite impulsive, let me say, very depressed, let me say, just she realized that she needs some psychotherapeutic treatment, intervention, and so on and so forth. And she started doing this, and slowly but surely started getting better. And suddenly she noticed that when she was getting better, Ivan started getting different. I mean, this is kind of a situation, for example, which, I mean, kind of mother with anxiety, irritation, I mean, depression is, I mean, a child is reflecting the state of mother state. It's because they're very tied to each other. And as soon as mother, let me say, is different, child is getting different. I mean, it's already a different stage of treatment for autism. Okay, please.
да. Как говорит психолог, мой психолог говорит, сначала одень маску себе, а потом одень ребенку. Да, как бы, как в самолете говорят, что если хочешь помочь своему ребенку, помоги себе в первую очередь сам. Она мне сказала так, она говорит, убери гиперопеку, убери, потому что у меня была настолько гиперопека, я боялась его выпускать на улицу, потому что он был агрессивен, да? Я боялась его отпускать одного в магазин. Я беспокоилась по любому поводу, что он находится где-то без меня. Как я убрала гиперопеку, все хорошо, ничего не изменилось. Ребенок ходит гулять, ребенок ходит в магазин. У ребенка я сама вышла на общение с людьми, начала больше общаться с людьми. Ребенок тоже начал общаться с людьми. Ребенок тоже начал интересоваться новыми вещами. Я стала спокойной, ребенок тоже стал спокойным. Я стала много улыбаться, шутить, ребенок тоже начал улыбаться и шутить. И как вот мой психотерапевт говорит, что если хочешь, чтобы ребенок интересовался чем-то, начни интересоваться сама, да, как бы. Хочешь, чтобы ребенок развивался, развивайся сама. Хочешь, чтобы ребенок умел контролировать свои эмоции, научись контролировать свои эмоции сама. Чаще, да, как доктор Алибек сказал, что чаще дети копируют нас, просто копируют.
And you know, just Tommy, this is again a very important part. That's what I'm trying to explain to all moms. And Anastasia came to this point by herself. I mean, because at that time when she came to this, to me, it was mostly, my focus was mostly medical. I would say it's not psychological. I thought, okay, I'll talk about psychology later on. But, you know, the more I knew about this, and when we discussed with Anastasia, and the more I understand that medical treatment is just initiation of the process. You can take a child, let me say, from inflammation, from infection, from other things. But you cannot give your child a peace of mind. You cannot give a child, let me say, a piece of your, mood, attention, many other things. It's absolutely impossible. And her psychologist, I have no idea whether it's a lady or a man, told her, before, if you want to help your child, like on a plane, put a mask first yourself. And just when a child sees it, for example, he or she would do the same. Don't try to push child to do something you wouldn't do. In this case, just if you want your child to be happy, okay, be happy. If don't become overprotective, because your child is already getting off and getting out of autism, and just, of course, don't be overprotective. Let your child some freedom, little by little, but give some freedom. And just from this, it's a kind of a situation. That's what we repeat. It's our common position, and many moms are saying same things. Just one mom said to me, I'm sorry, because it was beyond the translation. One mom, when I talked to her, she was so a level of nervousness was absolutely high. Anxiety. She was telling about the child, just having some people on the head. Let me say, just having some other things. And I said, okay, just now it's treatment for your son is going well. Now let's talk treatment for you. And because not medical treatment, psychological treatment. In 3 days, she wrote a letter saying, okay, when I started laughing, let me say, my son became completely different within 3 days. And this is what Anastasia actually started first. Her understanding how, let me say, psychological things, it's thanks to her psychologist, psychiatrist. And let me say, this is a thing, for example, never discussed by medical community. Of course, I understand it wouldn't work at the time when child, let me say, is not receivable. A child wouldn't see regular emotions, let me say, wouldn't understand, for example, how to behave and so on and so forth. Whatever you do is not going to work. But as soon as we're taking a child from this, I would say from this, the place, let me say, a child is sitting and completely closed. And when we open the world to a child, let me say, the child, let me say, is start living new life. It's an unknown world for a child. Let me say, it's everything new. Something could be scary. There's many things. But somebody who is nearby, this child's mom, let me say, she is a protector, let me say, an encourager, all things. And child being on treatment, let me say, is getting better. At some point, we could put medical treatment aside. And continue just doing kind of psychological thing, let me say. And maybe in some cases, some supplements, just if we have some situations, but the child is coming out. It's not a big deal. Just as soon as parents understand this, everything gets better. And Anastasia is a great example of this. So sorry, it was a more protracted translation with some explanation.
Можно то же самое на русском сказать, что вот мы
And
прекрасно понимаем, что
if you
мы
don't mind,
прекрасно
I'll tell.
понимаем. Ой, извините.
Скажите сами.
А теперь я хочу вас перевести. Я хочу сказать, что мы понимаем прекрасно, что есть родители, у которых дети не говорят, у которых дети ходят под себя, которых надо кормить с ложечки, которые мычат, и которые, сложные дети с аутизмом. И можно сказать, что, Анастасия, у тебя не было сложного ребенка, и все это звучит очень красиво, и все это не так радужно. Но что доктор Кен хотел донести, что когда ребенок начинает выходить с этого мира глазами родителя, глазами матери. И что очень важно в тот момент маме показать, как правильно себя вести, как радоваться жизни, что интересного в этой жизни. Показать ему мир. Я не знаю, слышно меня, не слышно.
Слышно. Мгм.
Слышно, да? Вот я хотела сказать, что мы прекрасно понимаем, что есть разные родители и разные степени аутизма, и что каждый проходит свою историю. Но мы хотим донести то, что как важно именно работа над собой, работа над своими страхами, над своими обидами, над своими детскими травмами, вообще травмами пожизненными, работа над тем, чтобы мамин и папин ресурс хватил на то, чтобы ребенок вышел с этого аута, а после аута, чтобы он развивался, рос как обычный ребенок.
No, actually, Tommy, Anastasia repeated, I mean, just translated into Russian what I said in English. But if, Anastasia, you have something additional to say in Russian, and I'll translate it into English. And if possible, just I'll spend about 5-7 minutes to give some advice and explain some things, in my opinion, would be essential to parents. Okay. Your turn, Anastasia.
Ну вот, я хотела просто добавить, чтобы родители верили в своих детей и начали работать над собой.
Okay.
В первую очередь работать над собой. И также прислушивайтесь, да, прислушивайтесь, доктор Кен, он очень умный человек, он знает, что говорит, и он действительно помогает нашим детям. И делает это бескорыстно и с большим сердцем, доброй душой.
Спасибо большое. You know, Tommy,
Меня слышно?
is it, было слышно? Is it possible if I wouldn't say, translate in English what Anastasia said about me, but I will tell the most important part. I mean, when a child is coming from autism, you know, this is sometimes, Tommy, for many people, my words, I'm saying, let me say, they sound like a kind of outrageous, let me put it this way, because officially, I mean, autism is not curable. No, I'm saying, guys, it's curable. We saw Ivan today. And, you know, you cannot even imagine how many other kids are already around. I mean, just after treatment and getting better. But what is absolutely essential in this case, a physician can help to take a child to a certain point. I mean, just opening, I mean, I would say the child to the world. And, you know, just as soon as the child, for example, is open, the child is become a receiver. I mean, just getting your knowledge, your understanding, looking into the world. You remember at some point I told you, many things are so new for the child, because before it was, and now the child is open, and is open to many things, to study something, to understand, I mean, kind of actions, words, and so on and so forth. But what is absolutely critical in this case, because the child should form, let me say, a type of behavior, and the child should get rid of, let me say, anxiety, because, and the only real example is the child's mother. I mean, the child's mother, for example, how she behaves, let me say, how she takes it. I mean, how she talks to a child, how she explains things. I mean, just it's and the mother, not the mother's mother, I'm a commander, it's mother, friend. I mean, just it's and this friend, for example, just because, yeah, I can give you a simple example without talking too much. And just when I talk to some webinars, I said, okay, now you see your child is already out. I mean, out of the condition. And this is still, but you know, because for many years of his life, he didn't speak. It doesn't mean he cannot speak at all. He knows many words, but he cannot apply them yet. And even he knows some words, for example, in many cases, he doesn't know the meaning of these words. Okay, just the word is in the head, and he cannot explain, for example, the kind of actions. And because in order to create a kind of understanding, we need to combine together words, what we say, I mean, action, I mean, just all things, I mean, what you hear, what you see, for example, the action, for example. If a mom, for example, decided to make some dinner, okay, just a child should be there. And mom is explaining things, for example, the child, let me say, is bringing, let me say, all his things. He understands the mom is using knife, mom is cutting cucumbers. The mom, for example, is preparing something. And when she tells a child, let me say, because the child is mirroring in all senses. I mean, vision, hearing, let me say, just understanding words and so on and so forth, because something what wasn't acquired, let me say, for years in the sense of connecting things, let me say, would start coming in a child, let me say, based on mama's, let me say, general condition. I mean, just no nervousness, let me say, just kind of friendship, being joyful, and I mean, explaining the child these things, and the parents would see amazing results. The only thing that we need to keep in mind, when the child is not able, let me say, to communicate, when his problems are still there, I mean, whatever they do doesn't work. And there's all people who do behavioral therapy, they know about this. That's what I'm saying, guys. Get rid of inflammation. Suppress the infections. Let the brain, let me say, to start repairing itself. Plasticity of the brain is absolutely amusing. You know, it would take some months, for example, and you would see, let me say, absolutely astonishing results. And when you see, like mom says, okay, and kind of panicking, doctor, can you explain to me, my child just from starting this morning, started looking into my eyes, let me say, and trying to understand, she's, I mean, touching my nose, my ears, let me say, looking into my eyes. And just, and you know, just, I'm scared. I said, don't be scared. He sees you for the first time in his life. Okay, and he starts listening to something, and she would say, okay, you know why he does it? I said, you know, just because his, I mean, hearing is getting different from this, I mean, huge number of sounds your child heard before. He started separating something. And he started listening to your real voice. And for example, suddenly a mom would say, okay, you know, for 5 years or for 7 years, we tried to teach our son, let me say, to ride a bicycle, but you know, it was absolutely impossible because he couldn't even understand how to do it. And suddenly we bought a bicycle and he started riding it right away. Let me see, inflammation from, let me say, from the area related to either in the areas related to proprioception, areas related to vestibular things, let me say, vision, and so on and so forth. As soon as we take away or reduce, let me say, all things, let me say, a child is getting different. They start, I mean, they stop scaring, going in new directions. They would stop, I mean, scaring to ride bicycles. They wouldn't, I mean, attack people so often as it was done before, because many things are changing. And the changes are taking place within a month. First month is already seen. But you know, but in time passing by, and what you said, is absolutely essential. The mom could say, okay, Dr. Ken, 2 months, 3 months, everything was great, and suddenly my child started getting. And this is exactly the case you explain. I mean, you explain because just the child, let me say, coming to the point, but he or she needs to understand the world through the ears, eyes, and mouth of his or her mom or dad. Not very often, but that's a kind of the circle around in many cases. But when they have time, they need to be a part of this. And it's a child is getting out. And just we have children who didn't speak. Now parents forget it. 5 years old, 6 years old, non-spoken at all. Now they are worried about that a child is speaking. I mean, it's not using they use full sentences, but they still don't speak back and forth. I said, okay, wait for another 3-4 months. And the child will start and they said, listen to you and replying to you. It's all that's happening. That's the case. And let me say it again to physicians, parents, guys, if you don't understand that inflammation, I mean, caused by viruses, by so-called intracellular bacteria, and then inflammation induced by this, oxidative stress, they are developing a kind of, I would use a harsh word, perverted brain. Because it's a connectivity in the brain is different. In some cases, let me say, it's more obvious, some cases less obvious. I mean, a number of neurons, let me say, in different areas of the brain is different. In this case, trying, let me say, to find a solution, let me say, you cannot do this because it's everything is, let me say, is disordered, I would say. And as soon as we treat this, I mean, and the treatment is absolutely obvious. I mean, there is nothing, I mean, fantastic, but there is no necessity to create a new, very expensive drugs. 30 years of studies resulted in just risperidone, let me say, which helps 1/3 of the kids, and then the kids are becoming even worse. Okay, guys, if there is no solution, just don't try to find magic bullet. I mean, simple things will already exist. Okay? Just use it. That's it. Just everything is absolutely possible. If you understand autism is having a big number of underlying conditions, I mean, don't treat autism by itself. Treat underlying conditions. And as soon as you understand how to treat underlying conditions, for example, you start seeing the first results already. That's it. And the second part, this is exactly what Anastasia said. This is, the thing we'd like to share with you. And this is when Russian part, I wouldn't translate into Russian because this is everything. Can you imagine now this is on treatment? I mean, I have in waiting, I have 2,500 children. And just in the line, let me say, is growing. And I'm the only one. Okay, I need some. And looks like, for some strange reason, let me say, just former Soviet Union physicians, they are more open for treatments, but understanding, let me say, they are not bound, let me say, to all these restrictions. And looks like we're forming a team quite soon. And I promise to train them, and things will become better. And whether we like it or not, Russia, Ukraine, Baltic countries, I mean, Central Asia countries, Moldova, they will become the first ones claiming that autism is not treatable, just it's curable. Okay, this is it for today.
Beautiful. Yeah, Dr. Alibek, Anastasia, thank you very much for coming
How
on.
you feel, Tommy?
And thank you for coming on and sharing your story and being open with us. And obviously we will do another episode, Dr. Alibek. And anything else to say, Anastasia?
So, well, the only what I want to say now, Ivan is absolutely normal child. So, I mean, like, he doesn't have any problems what he had before. He doesn't have aggression. He doesn't have self-harming problems. He doesn't have problems to speak with his friends. He has lots of freedom. So he walks to the shops. So he goes outside. He doesn't have problems at school. He study. He's writing a book. He goes to karate. And he's really enjoying his life. And I want to say thank you very much again to Doctor. And I really think it's very important for parents to understand how their well-being affects their child. You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Anastasia, let me say a huge thank you to you, not just for today's piece, I mean, for the work. Anastasia helped me, let me say, because it's, I mean, with all things, let me say, just I still in the situation that I need to assemble the book on autism treatment and autism explained the treatment, you know, and because I want to publish it in both English and Russian. The English part she was taken care of. There are some other moms who are helping in the Russian language. But what I'd like to tell, I mean, just what people didn't understand, because Anastasia, you mentioned that some mother would say that your child is not so severe, I mean, compared to them. No, absolutely right. The form of autism you had is the severest form. Because a child who is, let me say, who is not able to go to a restroom, I mean, it's solvable very easily. Child who is, I mean, having anorexia, I mean, anorexia very easily. A child who is non-spoken, let me say, would start speaking, I mean, initially in 3-6 months, I mean, first words, let me say, and we would be there. The worst case scenario, let me say, is when a child, let me say, is becoming self-aggressive, then it becomes, let me say, aggressive towards others. And this is the thing, for example, which actually, in many cases, just if physicians, and unfortunately, it's not the case yet, don't find a solution, let me say, the child would end up, let me say, either in jail or at a special facility. This is what Anastasia explained is a most severe form of autism. This is because it's speaking, let me say, believe me, it's so easy. I mean, it's everybody who on treatment would start speaking already started speaking. It's not a big deal at all. Okay, this is what I'd like to say.
Я очень рада была вас видеть. I'm so happy to see you.
Okay, thank you very much.
To be able to see you, Doctor, to see you, Tommy. I'm so happy that I met you. Really
Well,
nice young man.
thank you.
I would say.
Yeah,
My husband would kill me
you
after
know,
these words.
Tommy, can you tell us whether you married?
Me? I am not.
We're gonna find for you
Okay.
some nice
We
Eritrean
need to
girl.
introduce you because you know just a number of ladies watching this because all of them are moms, but I need to tell them they need to find their sisters. And I mean, take a look at you and to build a line of ladies who would be interested in meeting you.
Hey, I'm open to it. I'm
Okay,
open.
great. That's what I wanted to tell.
Just tell us your criteria.
It would be my task for you. Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Dr. Alibek, I will see you tomorrow with Dr. Hatfield.
Okay, great.
I'm excited. Anastasia, great to meet you. Dr. Alibek, thank you for
Great to
coming
meet
on.
you.
Until the next episode, I will see you guys later.
Okay, great.
You-
All right. Bye-bye.